Hello, and welcome to the State of the Books, the monthly show where the correspondence team at the Cup of Chamomile household discusses all the recent happenings regarding the mountain of unread books, though we may also touch up on other things occurring at the base of operations. So join us, the correspondence team, as we discuss the State of the Books. La 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 la, something something, State of the Books. Also follow me on my social medias. Okay, thanks, bye. Today, the State of the Books gives us reason to celebrate. Yes, viewers, we have achieved the impossible. We have achieved what many at the Cup of Chamomile household thought was impossible. 'Twas a feat unbeaten for almost 5 years. It is a behemoth that has lurked at the back of everyone's minds. We've reached 32 books for this year! In other words, we have matched the personal record set in 2017. So on this very special day, we're going to celebrate. We're not going to talk about the state of the books. We're making pasta. First, you need your pasta. You thought I was going to mention spaghetti for all the times I've mentioned it on this channel, didn't you? Yeah, I don't have any spaghetti with me at the moment, so we're going to have to use penne. Next, grab your tomato sauce. Or any sauce, honestly, but I just like tomato sauce. Then, grab an onion. I promise there was an onion in this bag. Next, you need stuff for your meatballs. So, ground beef, eggs, breadcrumbs, spices. Don't go overboard, it's just pasta and meatballs. Unless you want to appease the flying spaghetti monster, in which case, go ahead, I won't stop you. Now, before you do anything else, you must wash your hands. Don't be one of those heathens who sticks their unwashed hands in someone else's food. Now for the first order of business. The meatballs. Pause. But before we even think about handling our meat, we must first handle our vegetables. So take your onion and chop it into a million pieces. Violently. Don't actually do that, because if you're not careful, you could lose all your fingers, and nobody wants to eat their fingers. That's kind of gross. Anyways. La la la, onion time. Hey, come on. So much for the wet paper towel. They said it would keep me from crying all over my onions, but I guess that was a lie. Anyways. Okay. There we go. Don't you just love bowls? They're so convenient. Anyway, back to cutting more onions. La la la, onion time. Here's to hoping my fingers don't fall off. 'Cause if they do, that'll be a problem. Maybe I should chop all these into smaller pieces. I don't know, I might do that. And I almost forgot, you gotta put your garlic in your meatballs so the meatballs taste good. So let me get a few cloves here if I can get them. The power of Christ compels you. Given how much meat I have, though, I might just go for 6. Let me try to get this one here, because Man, what a wonderful mess I've made today. Isn't this marvelous? Also, don't mind the manicure. I am long overdue for a redo. La 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 la. What am I gonna use? Now it's time to get rid of these outer skin things. Because unless you're using them for marinade, you don't want a mouthful of this when you're eating stuff, because that's kind of gross. Anyway, time to peel. Here's a hack that I found very useful. If you want to make garlic mincing easier, you can slice up your garlic before you put it in the mortar and... Did I say mortal? Bow down to me, foolish mortal, I am vengeance. Anyway, as I was saying, you can chop up your garlic before you put it in the mortar and pestle, so that way it's a little easier, and your garlic's a little finer. This has been a lesson from a cup of chamomile. The more you know. So now that the garlic is all chopped up, it's time to mince it. Violently. Maybe I should just put it down like this. I don't want to crush my fingers. See, you always gotta exercise precautions when you're cooking. Because like I said, if you're not careful, you could lose all your body parts. And also, like I said, nobody wants that. Maybe I should have gotten the bigger mortar and pestle for this. Ah, screw it. Now that the garlic has been beaten to a pulp, we can transfer it to this bowl. I summon thee! Oh wow, that's a lot of garlic. Anyways. Now, ignore the atomic mess that I have just made over there, but now it's time to put the meat and the onions and everything else into this bowl, so we can mix the meatballs. Be gone, chair. Now, some people might mix the meatballs with a spoon or a spatula or something, but I am not some people, so I'm doing this with my hands. I don't want to overmix this because I still have the eggs and the cheese and the whatnots to put in. So, crap. There goes an onion piece. As with all things, there are pros and cons. Probably the biggest con to mixing meatballs with your hand is that if it's fresh out of the fridge, the cold from the meat will seep into your bones. And it is one of my least favorite sensations. I'm not sure if I would wish this on anyone. However, it is a very necessary evil. But I think this is the biggest bowl we have, which might be a problem. Eggies. Oh god. Man, I love eggshell meatballs. Now I gotta wash my hands again before I handle the cheese, because reasons. Now that the hands have been washed, it's time for the cheese. This is Parmesan, by the way. This is a great form of exercise. I highly recommend it. Oh god, ew. Okay. Mommy. Oh, why am I here? This was a mistake. Getting grossed out by egg yolks as someone who likes her eggs over easy. What's wrong with me? Jeez. I think I'm gonna do 3/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Alrighty, now time for the spices. First up, of course, being the salt. Hey, get out. Once you have mixed your balls, it is time to roll them into circles. So, personally, I recommend shaping your balls in the size of an egg. This might be a little too big. Hold on. Doop-de-doo. Ignore the recently washed dishes. They're still drying. Not sure where else to put them. Roughly about this size for maximum ballness. In a pan, the largest pan you can find, or maybe I guess it doesn't matter because these are going to be cooked in batches anyway, add some olive oil. Fail to do this with one hand. A little more. Actually, yeah, that might be good. Now to cook your meatballs. You have the option to bake them, but I'm going to fry them. Of course, this requires turning on the stove. If you manage to do that without blowing up your house, congratulations! Let your balls cook for about 5 minutes on each side, though this may vary depending on how big they are. Then turn them onto the opposite side to complete the cooking process. In order to make things easier for yourself, I recommend putting a lid on it. When your balls are done, transfer your balls onto a plate lined with paper towels so you can get rid of that nasty olive oil. Because the last thing anyone wants is to have a mouthful of oil when they're enjoying their meatballs. If you want, you can get started on your pasta while your meatballs are cooking. Take a pot. Any pot. At least one big enough to fit your pasta in. And then put some water in it. And now, and this step is very important, salt your pasta water. If it's not saltier than the Dead Sea, you messed up. Before the water starts to boil, add your salt to the pasta water. Then let your pasta cook for about 10 minutes or until it's al dente. In other words, you want your pasta to have just a bit of hardness left to it, but not so hard that it'll destroy all your teeth. So while you're waiting for your pasta to cook, here are some things you can do in the meantime. Read a book. Contemplate the meaning of the universe. Wonder why your mom is so obsessed with plants. Summon the flying spaghetti monster. Bonus points if you actually succeed. Now the last bit of this marvelous cooking process. The sauce. Put some oil in a pan, then add your sauce. Then add some of your pasta water. This is what makes the sauce extra spicy hot. Not really, but you get what I mean, hopefully. Once your sauce starts to simmer, you have the option to add your pasta. If you're doing this, make sure all of your pasta noodles are coated evenly by the sauce. And now, for the finishing touch. Let us admire this thing of beauty. Okay, enough of this. It's time to put pasta in the meatball. If you thought I was gonna say meatball in the pasta, you're wrong. Bone apple teeth. In conclusion, the state of the books has been splendid this month. The knowledge that any books read past this point will break the record set in 2017 has greatly boosted the morale of the Cup of Chamomile household, and we hope that this will facilitate the expedition into the mountain of unread books. Thus, the state of the books for the month of September gets a 10 out of 10. Yay! If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for sticking around. As with the last state of the books, leave a book emoji in the comments if you made it this far. If you want more book talk, drawings, and other quality shenanigans from me, make sure to like and subscribe and follow me on my socials, and also spread the joy of books. Thanks for watching! I forgot to do this on the 21st, but screw it all. It's still September.